What up, ladies and gentlemen, Chen Chen here bringing you guys another video. Today this is a very special video because I am going over every single potential Vladimir item in depth. Alright, so this is going to be kind of an analysis video, almost like which is better, but in terms of like the best Vladimir build, you will not find this in this video. I'm just going to go over all of the item choices, what they actually give you, how they feel on Vladimir. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash the like button, join the Crimson Pack by subscribing to the channel. Let's get right into it. Alright, I have created an item set which pretty much labels every single potential item. For starters, you have the starting item. These are all the viable starting items for Vladimir in Season 11. We all know Doran's Ring got a huge buff through gaining health instead of mana. As you can see right here, Drain, killing a minion, restores 3 health, which is definitely very good, but the Dark Seal, honestly, is probably the best for Vladimir in Season 11, and this is because it doesn't give mana anymore, and all the stats is everything that Vladimir needs. So, in my opinion, Dark Seal will definitely probably be the best starting item. I also threw in Doran Shield. I know in a lot of matchups, such as maybe Orianna, Syndra, those poke-heavy matchups, I feel as if Doran Shield is still a pretty good contender. I also want to mention that you do have to get used to farming with Dark Seal. It doesn't give you that 5 additional physical attack damage onto minions. Personally, I have missed probably like 10 CS rather than if I were to start Doran's Ring. So it's definitely something I need to get used to, but in my opinion, Dark Seal refillable is the best starting item. Moving on to the boots of choice. There are only primarily 3 boots of choice. I could have thrown in Mercury Treads, but let's be honest, buying Mercs on Vladimir feels absolutely horrible. So the core boots are CDR boots, Boots of Swiftness, and Sorcerer's Shoes. Now, once again, in my opinion, the best Vladimir boots is Sorcerer's Shoes. With magic penetration and tying into other mythic items that I will go into later, Sorcerer's Shoes definitely feel the best, getting that early magic penetration. In general, stacking ability haste in Season 11 is absolutely horrible. It doesn't feel as satisfying as last season, and even then, last season, this was kind of the inferior boot, and Boots of Swiftness is kind of gaining popularity, but for the most part, it is still not as good as Sorcerer's Shoes. Now, for the main topic that I will be talking for the majority of the video probably is the mythic items, kind of distinguishing between them. I do want to mention I will be creating a in-depth which is better mythic item, which we'll talk about when you want to go a specific item, etc. This video won't actually go into in-depth with that, but I kind of want to run over the mythic items and what they actually do. So Night Harvester, this is a very good item with a ton of burst, and you don't really realize the movement speed, but it's still pretty nice. It's pretty, you can still feel it, but it's not insane. Like, you won't be going zoom with it. I do want to mention, and it's actually very important, the Night Harvester scales off of ability haste. So what that means is every single legendary item right here that you get, it's going to give you 5 ability haste. Meanwhile, these 2 items give you penetration. So very important to keep that in mind. Night Harvester, in my opinion, is definitely in the top 2. It's between Night Harvester and Rocket Belt. I'm going to get into why I personally don't like Riftmaker and why I think Riftmaker kind of sucks. By the way, I want to quickly mention I cannot actually show the passive on Practice Tools simply because bots do not actually work. It only works on champions. I could summon a bot. Champion bot, but that would honestly take too much time. You can just expect it to be dealing 300 damage to pretty much everyone, and if you do like a flash combo, it's gonna one-shot, especially squishies. So Night Harvester, like I said earlier, it gives you that burst, alright? And in terms of stats, they all give 80 AP, 250 HP, and 15 ability haste. Meanwhile, Riftmaker gives an additional 15% Omni Vamp. So Night Harvester, Rocket Belt, these are the 2 core mythic items that you should be aiming to go Moving on to Rocket Belt, this is pretty much less burst oriented but more mobility oriented. So if we go over here, if you use it, you'll see that you get a nice movement speed buff, 330. Let me turn this on, and to 519. So it does feel very good, and honestly it acts as a second flash. So imagine if there was like a full team, you proto belt, and you're pretty much going to be able to utilize it as a second flash. I think that is why a lot of people prefer this item. Like I said, not going to mention which is necessarily better, but it's a very, very good item. The magic penetration is of course very nice as well. Honestly, the magic penetration is much better than the ability haste, but the Night Harvester passive is just really, really good. That's what makes it a high contender. Moving on to Riftmaker, why I don't like this item, why I don't see it as being good. To start off, it gives you 15% Omnivamp. We all know Grievance Wounds. Did I spell it wrong? Did I spell it wrong? Either way, Oblivion Orb and Executioners and I believe Bramble, they all cost 800. So pretty much an 800 item will counter healing. So this is actually very counterintuitive, especially since healing is extremely accessible for majority of the champions, and also the passive Void Corruption. For each second in combat, deal 3% bonus damage. At maximum strength, the bonus damage is dealt as true damage. The reason why this isn't really good is because majority of the time, you want to be in a fight with a lot of ability haste or a lot of survivability, and this doesn't scale for ability haste, so it's pretty much you're playing like a burst, but you're trying to stay in a fight as long as possible. It doesn't really fit into Vladimir's identity, if that makes any sense. Basically, for the most part, if you want to stay into a fight longer, you need ability haste. At least that's for last season. That's why you go the 45% CDR build, and you can stay into a fight extremely long. But meanwhile, Spellbinder Season 10 was more focused on bursting. You want to burst, and then you want to get out and wait for your abilities. This is pretty much doing the complete opposite in every direction. You're trying to stay in the fight, but you're also trying to do more damage, but you also don't have enough ability haste to make this item work. In my opinion, this is definitely not a good option. In very niche, in very niche situations, you might actually be able to run this. Maybe against like a full team of tank. Honestly, even then, probably Night Harvest or probably Rocket Belt will still be better. But in my opinion, Riftmaker is definitely not good. Another thing I want to mention with Riftmaker is if you pair it up with Zhonya's, if you stack it, right, you have to wait 4 seconds. And then, oh wait, what? So you're in combat, here we go. You activated, so right here, you're glowing purple. What I want to mention real quick is if you Zhonya's, your increased damage actually wears off. So it's not really insane in that aspect. As you can see, it is not, it doesn't really fit into Vladimir's playstyle, in my opinion. Alright, moving on to the debated core. These are basically the items that every Vladimir is currently debating on, which is better for the second and third item slots. This is between Rabadon's, Void, Cosmic Drive, Zhonya's, and Medjai's. Now, real quick, I want to mention Medjai's is pretty much guaranteed into Vladimir's kit, especially if you are fed. If you are 000 or 100, you should almost always get Medjai's, but if you are inting, then probably not. But this is just such a beautiful item for Vladimir. Not only does Medjai's have an insane passive where it helps you snowball, but it also counts as a legendary item. What that means is you're getting a mythic passive off of it. So Medjai's is definitely a very good item. So these 4 items are the debated core. Zhonya's is a little less on the secondary item list. It's more of a third, fourth, but still it's very core, especially if you're against an AD. Going Seekers is very nice. So let me kind of talk about what actually changed with these items. For starters, Rabadon's Death Cap absolutely got nerfed. It costs 200 more and gives 5% less AP. As AP is kind of less accessible for Vladimir, this feels really bad to go second item. The only reason why I'm not telling you which is best and which is the best Vladimir build is because I simply don't know. I need more playtesting, I need more other people's opinions, but just kind of going over what they do and how they change. So, Rabadon's Death Cap, obviously you're getting less AP from these Mythic items in general compared to a pace from last season, and you're getting less AP from the passive, and it's costing 200 more. So, that's what happened to Rabadon's, in my opinion. Probably not the best to go second. Moving on to Void Staff. Void Staff actually got a huge buff. It cost significantly cheaper, 2,500 gold, and it actually builds very, very easily. You can buy a Amplifying Tome and 2 Blighted Jewel and Blasting Wand, and it only costs 400. People don't actually understand how big of a change this is. Usually you have to buy Amplifying Blasting Wand, and then it used to sit on, I forgot the exact number, but it didn't feel as good as it does now. Now you can just sit on Amplifying Tome. Whenever you have enough gold, you can buy this, and then it's a 400 upgrade, which is super big, and it didn't lose out on its penetration. I'm still unsure if you want to rush it second. Maybe that's potentially overkill, but it's a very, very good item. Cosmic Drive is the most debated item, and that is because a lot of Vladimir players think that this is good. I still have to playtest more, and I can't tell you exactly if it's good or not. Personally, I don't necessarily like it. It's super pricey, and like I said earlier, Ability Haste just feels horrible in Season 11. This really doesn't give you the power spike you need. I know some people are rushing this first item before Mythic item. I think that's stupid. These are so good to get. But in terms of secondary item, I'm not too sure. Like I said, it's still going to need more time, but basically you're getting a lot of ability haste, or a decent bit of ability haste, and you're getting a passive that gives you a small movement speed buff. It's not insanely noticeable, but with Phase Rush, with Phase Rush and Enhanced Boots, you'll kind of feel it. It's not very practical, right? Once you're into a fight, because you have to damage them, you're getting small movement speed, but once you're already in a fight, you already have Phase Rush on, you already have, if you're taking Ghost, you already have Ghost on. It doesn't really aid into Vladimir, which Vladimir's main issue with his secondary third item is the lack of damage. This is not giving you extra damage, so keep that in mind. Okay, we already talked about Zhonya's. Zhonya's got a huge buff, which it costs less, and for its insane active. Not a whole lot I need to talk about there, so just keep that in mind. Zhonya's is a go-to third or fourth item. And lastly, for the video, we are going to talk about these situational. These are pretty much your go-to fifth or sixth item. Majority of the time, just your sixth item when you want to close out the game. Demonic Embrace. Still a very new item, still people are trying to figure out its purpose. The burn effect is cool and all, but the stats are just not really it. It really doesn't give you a whole lot for a 3,000 gold item. Banshee Veil, the new build path, which pretty much acts as a seeker as well, where it's kind of scaling defensive stats, right? Every 60 seconds you gain 3 magic resist. It feels pretty nice. Banshees is definitely good against champions like maybe Zoe or Ahri. This will definitely help you engage, and it's pretty cheap, so it's definitely a decent item. Morellonomicon, it's a no-brainer. If they have a lot of healing, you get Morellonomicon. Rylai's Crystal Scepter, it gives 90 AP, which is absolutely huge, and it gives a pretty decent passive. You won't really realize it. These are bots, so they're not going to really be slowed, but you won't really realize it, but this is giving you the most amount of AP from a 3,000 price range. And lastly, for situational, you can obviously go the legendary, most beautiful green plated armor, Spirit's Visage. This gives you pretty much everything you need. It gives you AP, not AP, it gives you Ability Haste, HP, Magic Resist, and a beautiful passive. Once again, tying into why Riftmaker isn't extremely viable. Healing Extra doesn't actually do a whole lot this season. Omnivamp, Omnivamp is super prevalent and almost every champion will be getting some sort of the 800 gold anti-heal. So magic resist is very good against AP dealers, so still very good for that. That is pretty much it for the video. Hopefully you guys kind of understand what you want to go, kind of the build path. You can carve your own. I feel as if Season 11 has a lot more variety, so you can carve your own. If you want to hear my own opinion, I am currently going Night Harvester into Cosmic Drive, Rabadons. Actually, I go Night Harvester, Medjai's, Cosmic Drive, Rabadons, and then Void Staff. That is kind of my build, but still pretty hard to say which is better. And I take Ghost with this. Another build that I've been going, and a lot of people are going as well, is Rocket Belt, Void Staff, Rabadons, Zhonya's, and then potentially Medjai's or a Situational. Like I said, this is not a video showcasing what's the best. This is just an in-depth Vladimir itemization analysis. So hopefully you guys know which item does what, and hopefully you understand exactly kind of what you want to go in a team direction. If they have a lot of healing, you know you want to go Morellonomicon, etc, etc. That is it for the video. Tons of new itemization, builds, and concepts, and videos up to come. Make sure you comment down some video ideas as well. If you want to see me go a specific build, I will definitely try it out. That is it for the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash the like button, join the Crimson Pack by subscribing to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all have a great day. Chen Chen out.